The Shahi Imam today, he spoke about Palestinians. Did the Shahi Imam condemn the Hamas attack? It is not about Israel, it's not about Palestine. It is about an institutionalized and religiously sanctioned hatred of the Jews. In the Saudi bombings, more than 370,000 people have been killed. Muslims have been killed by other Muslims. But did the Shahi Imam utter a word? Jai Hind friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and do not forget to press the bell icon. Ladies and gentlemen, the Israel and Hamas conflict is really shaking up the world, and India is not very far away in terms of the effects of this war. Now, Shahi Imam Bukhari, who is the head Imam of the Jama Masjid, and perhaps one of the most famous, recognizable figures in the Muslim leadership in India, has said that the Muslim world has failed, in its duties in terms of supporting Palestine and condemning Israel. Now, here is the problem. When the Shahi Imam says that the Muslim world has failed in supporting Palestine and against Israel aggression, there is a problem with this statement, and I will tell you what the problem is. When you say that the Muslim world has failed, which means that it is a Muslim issue, which is why he's saying the Muslim world. You see, this is why everything fails. Because the Shahi Imam and many Muslim leaders, heads of state, some of them, are not talking based on logic. They are talking based on faith. They're talking based on religion. They're saying that we should support the Palestinians. Here, the Palestinians are not the issue. Hamas is the problem, right? So we should support the Hamas, or they should support the Palestinians, either way, because they are Muslims and we are Muslims, and hence we should support them. By that account, the Judeo-Christian civilization, if that is your trigger, then every Christian country which has a Christian majority, when I say Christian country, I mean a Christian majority country, which is all of Europe, North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, and so many other countries will end up supporting Israel simply because they have similar values, the Judeo-Christian values. So, I think all the Muslim leaders, they must talk based on facts. They're not talking based on facts. There is rhetoric, there is emotionalism, there is harking back to a golden Islamic past. People are talking about, how the Palestinians are fighting back, etc. Now, look at the small little thing that has happened. A ship from Saudi Arabia to Pakistan, it entered Pakistan's waters, and the Houthi drones struck that ship. So, 3 days back, the Pakistanis were actually applauding the Houthi missile strikes on ships. And the Pakistani media was going absolutely crazy. They're saying such brave warriors, and they're attacking the ships of the world, and America can't do anything. And suddenly, they strike a ship bound for Pakistan carrying oil from Saudi Arabia, and suddenly the Pakistanis don't know what to say. Why am I giving this example? I'm giving this example, ladies and gentlemen, is because their support for the Houthis was not based on logic, it was based on religion. And this is where this entire conflict is going wrong as far as the Muslim world is concerned, because all the Muslim countries who say that we are behind Palestine, they're not behind Palestine because they feel that the Palestinians have been wronged. They are behind the Palestinians, they stand with the Palestinians simply because they feel that, because we belong to a similar faith, we must support them based on religion. There is a dichotomy in this entire support. The problem is, when the target is clearly painted, let's say the target is Hamas, and people are supporting Hamas because the Hamas terrorists are Muslims, right? And so you have the Shahi Imam saying that we must support the Palestinian people. Because, people are being very smart about it. The Shahi Imam today, he spoke about Palestinians. Did the Shahi Imam condemn the Hamas attacks on 7th of October? No, absolutely not. And he will never condemn it. He will never condemn it. I'll tell you why he will not condemn it. And why Erdogan will not condemn it. And why the Iranians are anyway beyond the pale, so forget about the Iranians. But so many other people will not condemn it because secretly in their heart, here I'm speaking specifically of Erdogan, not so much the Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid, not him, but at least Erdogan, I can say. He's happy. Erdogan is happy that 7th of October happened. It is not about Israel, it's not about Palestine. It is about an institutionalized and religiously sanctioned hatred of the Jews. That is what this whole game is about. And now coming back to the Shahi Imam of the Jama Masjid. Now he's saying that the Narendra Modi government should exert all diplomatic pressure, right? All diplomatic pressure on Israel to stop this war. I want to ask the Shahi Imam, what relationship do you have with the Palestinians? Why do you care? Why do you care? And when Saudi Arabia was bombing Yemen, bombing the living daylights out of Yemen, or when Erdogan has sent his fighter jets to bomb the Kurds, why isn't the Shahi Imam saying anything about it? In the Saudi bombings, more than 370,000 people have been killed. Muslims have been killed by other Muslims. But did the Shahi Imam utter a word? No. Did the Muslim word utter a word? No. It's only where the Jews are concerned that they open their mouths. Otherwise, everyone is zip shut. Nobody will speak. Nobody wants to speak because, you see, once you point out towards one Muslim country, killing the other Muslims in another country, then you're talking about Muslims and you're talking against them. Let me give you another example. When India tried to push back Rohingyas, the entire Muslim world was in an uproar. How can you push back the Rohingyas? How can you push back the Rohingyas? So many people, Muslim leaders inside India, were crying and weeping that you shouldn't set the Rohingyas. Why? For them, the law of the land is not important. The faith of the Rohingyas is important. The religion of the Rohingyas is important. Otherwise, they would have also protested when Pakistan started the process of throwing out 1.7 million Afghan refugees. The Afghans are also Muslim, but nobody will utter a word. Because this entire drama is religion-based. It's not based on logic. Ladies and gentlemen, France is going to celebrate New Year under the shadow of the gun. They have received credible intelligence reports that there could be massive terror attacks in France. France is in a state of very high alert. And Interior Minister Darmanin has said that they're getting, I think more than 90,000 policemen and thousands of the members of the French army. They're going to be patrolling day and night. The CCTV cameras, drones, everything is hyperactive because they say that the Israel-Hamas war has activated elements inside France. It has activated elements inside France, and while France has nothing to do with the Israel-Hamas conflict, nothing to do with the Israel-Hamas conflict. In fact, the French president has been saying there should be an end to this war. There should be an end to this war. He's calling for peace. But the French will still get attacked. You remember in June, July, when that Moroccan young man was killed by the police, they burnt half of France. Actually, these immigrants, many of them from Morocco, Syria, Yemen, they hate the French because the French are largely Christian. I'm not saying all French are Christian. I'm saying French are largely Christian. A vast majority of French are Christian. And that is exactly what makes the French a target. That's what makes them a target. And this is exactly what these people are going to do. Now today, why should France be on high alert? For what? For New Year's. Why? Because there is a war going on thousands of kilometers away between Israel and Hamas. Does that make sense to you? And what has France done? Has France helped Israel? Has France given weapons or ammunition to Israel? Has France called for war against the Hamas? No. The French president is actually calling for peace. He's calling for a ceasefire. He's saying stop this war. But the French are still afraid. They have received credible reports that the jihadis are going to attack them. And their only crime is that the French are largely Christian. Again, the first news was of the Shahi Imam of the Jama Masjid and his support of the Palestinian cause because of religion, and this one is also for religion, this French news. This news from France is also, this entire threat is because the French are Christian. So they will be attacked. There is no other logic to it. When the Moroccan young man was killed, the French were attacked because they were Christian. You see, when the police were killing the young man or shooting at the young man, That was a case of police excess. That was a case of murder. That was a case of police brutality. And that policeman should be sent to jail, or whatever the French law says about it. Yes. But at the same time, this is not comparable. Here, they are going to hit out. A woman's throat being slit in front of the church, one student shouting Allahu Akbar and stabbing and killing his own teacher and killing 2 other people along with him. All these crimes are based on religious hatred because the victims did nothing against them. The victims' only crime was that they were Christians, that they belonged to a different faith. That is why the French are being killed in France. There are so many incidences that I can quote. India has sent $2.5 million for the United Nations Palestinian Relief Fund. And India has also sent in the past, medicines and clothes, etc., and a lot of relief. And they are saying that this money will go a long way in taking care of Palestinian refugees. But I also want to say that, while you're sending aid for the Palestinian refugees, and I don't say that is something bad, please send it to the people who need it. If we can afford it, we must send it. But I want to ask, what are we doing for Israel? What are we doing for Israel? We must do something for the state of Israel also. Because I'll tell you, let's understand one thing. Whatever we do, right, we can literally accede to every single demand. But if we are to offer our hand in friendship to Israel, half the Muslim world will object. That is always going to be there. So hell with half that world. The Israelis are our friends. Remember, the Israelis were giving us weapons to fight when we had not even recognized the state of Israel. Never forget that. And let's always celebrate this friendship between India and Israel. And one last thing that I'd like to tell you is that, you see, whether it's India, whether it's Pakistan or Saudi Arabia or UAE or everywhere, anti-Israel feeling is united by faith, because a lot of people, especially people in Muslim countries, feel that, we must stand together against Israel. And this is my message to everybody. For whatever my message is worth, my 2 cents of wisdom, if I may, we must unitedly stand with Israel against these forces of darkness like the Hamas, the Hezbollah, the Houthis. We must stand against them and with Israel. That's all I have to say, and I wish you and your families a very, very happy New Year. God bless all of you, and please keep on blessing us and supporting us as you have always done in the past. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.